Welcome Commanders to a new series of tutorial videos on Tiberium Wars Worldbuilder. In this video I will introduce you to the most important components of Worldbuilder, tools that you will need to become familiar with as you create your own maps and missions. When you open Worldbuilder, you will be greeted with a large grey square, and within that square is an orange perimeter. The orange perimeter is the primary map border. The area between the perimeter and the map edge will be shrouded when you open the map in-game. I will go into detail about the uses of multiple borders at a later time should there be enough interest. The first thing that I recommend you do is go into View and scroll down all the way to Set LOD, Level of Detail, and select Low. This is because, in my experience, Worldbuilder is prone to crashing at the most inconvenient times. Setting LOD to low will greatly reduce the chances of Worldbuilder crashing. Once you exit Worldbuilder, the LOD will stay on the setting you selected, so you don't need to reset it every time you open Worldbuilder in the future. Be aware that some objects, specifically miscellaneous objects such as debris and lampposts, will be invisible on low LOD. Therefore, you must raise the LOD setting for when you want to add such objects to your maps in order to see and adjust them. Next, we are going to make a player list for the map. Go to Edit, Edit Player List to open the Player List tab. You will see that it is blank. You can either manually add in one player at a time with the New Player button, or select Add Skirmish Players to automatically give you the default list for skirmish maps. I highly recommend this option as it will also add in neutral and civilian players so that you can add their respective objects with no issues. I will go into more detail about the player list at another time, but for the purposes of understanding the basics, you can leave the list as it is here. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the height tools. There are 4 tools used to affect the height of parts of your map. First is the height brush. It uses 3 parameters to adjust the height of the affected area of your map. Brush width increases or decreases the size of the affected area. Brush feather width adds a slope around the perimeter of the affected area. Setting its value to 0 will cause a sheer incline or decline, and brush height is exactly what it sounds like. It raises and lowers the affected area's height by the set amount. Next, we have Mound and Dig, which raises and lowers height respectively. These tools are great for creating mountains and valleys, as you can hold down your mouse button to create naturally forming terrain. Finally, we have Smooth. As you can see, 2 of the settings have useful descriptions of their functions. In short, Smooth is used to create cliffs easily, as well as smooth hills and mountains that you wish to create. Next is the Lake, Ocean and River tools. As you have probably guessed, these involve water. I will aim to go into detail about these tools in a separate video, as there are some creative but complex uses for them, especially the River tool. Next, we have the Terrain tools. The single tile and large tile tools allow you to place a range of different terrain tiles on an area of the map. The terrain tiles are separated into different folders and can be previewed in the tab, as you can see here. Selecting the large tile tool allows you to adjust the size of the affected area that you wish to apply a terrain type to. The eyedropper tool allows you to quickly select a certain type of terrain tile that you have already placed. This will save you time from having to search for a particular tile in the folders. Flood Fill completely replaces one tile with another. The Auto Edge Out and Auto Edge In tools blend 2 terrain types at their edges. Auto Edge Out makes the terrain you select dominant over its neighbour, whereas the Auto Edge In tool makes it recessive, as you can see here. These tools aren't perfect. There will be times where you encounter an incorrect blend, such as a large sharp line that does not look natural. The best thing to do is go over this with a large tile, set to 2 or 3 feet and blend again. Now onto object placement. Each object is part of a category and subcategory. Some are even part of 2, particularly civilian neutral objects. Finding GDI, nod and screen units and structures is fairly easy, as they have their own sections, but civilian objects can be somewhat more tricky to find. I recommend spending some time looking through each civilian object so that you get a general idea of location for future use. The last thing we'll look at here is camera height. Go to Edit, Edit Map Settings in order to edit the camera. As you can see, the max height is set to 300. Personally, I think this is too low, so I set mine to 400. Know that if you set it to any higher, you run the risk of the camera cutting off distant terrain and objects, which obviously looks awful. This can be fixed with scripting, but I personally think 400 is the perfect maximum height. Now that you have an understanding of the key basic functions of Worldbuilder, I will tell you how to access your saved maps, should you want to make them public. Accessing the maps for the first time can be complicated as it requires you accessing hidden folders on your device, specifically app data. To access app data, open your File Explorer and select View at the top. There should be a tick box with hidden items on it. Tick it and you should now have access to app data, and therefore continue the path to your C&C3 map folder. This is Windows 10. It might be different for 11 or further Windows, so I recommend looking up a guide online if this method does not work for you. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it helps you as you continue your journey as a map maker and story writer. If you have any questions about Worldbuilder or my storytelling process, feel free to comment below and I will consider making a tutorial about your query. If you would like to support the creation of further tutorials, I have my Patreon link in the description below. See you in the next video, Commanders.